a recent thing that's kind of been scary in the online left, and that is the recent influx of tankies being very outspoken and prominent. How do you think is the best way to combat that?
I don't think it's necessarily been recent. I think a lot of them have gotten more vocal because of the Ukraine war, but they were pretty vocal back before with the Bernie or Bust stuff, and they've always had a pretty disproportionate influence on a lot of online discussion. All the Reddit mods are tankies. It's really weird. So you have to understand that there's like an ideological overlap here. A lot of these people who seem to be tankies really are just anti-American, and there's like an ideological synchronicity there where they can go like, well, the real reason I dislike America is because of hegemon, geopolitic, proletariat, but in reality, like, they don't care about those things. They just like countries that aren't America. A lot of this is also like young people, especially young political radicals, of which there are more every year, are innately contrarian, and they have little experience with the real world, which means that they're desperate to not be like their parents. They are very quick to fall for like appeals or calls to action that would make them a dissonant or a rebel or like a like a provocateur. And that's why so much of say like lefty TikTok is tanky oriented. I wouldn't feel despair over it. It does suck. I'm not going to deny that. It does suck that like that's such an easy pit to fall into. The thing that I would focus most on is a rigorous adherence to principles which are unmistakably leftist, unmistakably progressive. And when they don't appear to support those principles, you just callously sort of disregard their revisionism, right? So if you're pro worker control, if you're pro proletariat, you're pro this, you're progressive, da 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 da, you stand by that, and don't bother like directly engaging with them or challenging them, because they're what? They're reactionaries, they're liberals, they're fascists, they're outside of your space. Allow them to justify to you the legitimacy of their positions, because as long as they're the one trying to convince you, they're at a massive disadvantage, because it means they have to make appeals that don't rely entirely on their like insane in-group dogma, like they have to reach out to you, which is why you see all this incredibly confident, like, yes, Russia's trying to liberate the Russian ethnic people from the Donbass or blah blah. But then like
Yeah.
if you actually talk to a pro-Russian Ukraine war type person directly, they scale that way back. They're like, well, don't you think like what happened with Yanukovych in 2014 was like a little bit weird? Because they know like once they're no longer in their own echo chamber, they can no longer rely on these just taken for dogma. So just don't worry too much about it. Be confident in your positions and defend them if challenged. You'll make the space around you better.